All right, good afternoon, commissioners. As chair of the commission, I call this meeting of the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission to order at 4:02 p.m. This Zoom webinar is live streamed on YouTube on the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission YouTube channel. For anyone in the public watching who would prefer to watch via a different platform than they are currently using, please visit our social media at Redistricting Michigan. Our live stream today includes closed captioning. Closed captioning ASL interpretation, as well as Spanish, Arabic, and Bengali translation services will be provided for effective participation in this meeting. Email us at redistricting@michigan.gov for additional viewing options or details on accessing language translation services for this meeting. People with disabilities needing other specific accommodations should contact redistricting@michigan.org. I'm sorry, that's redistricting@michigan.gov. This meeting is being recorded and will be available at www.michigan.gov/micrc for viewing at a later date. The meeting is also being transcribed, and those closed caption transcripts will be made available and posted on the michigan.gov/micrc website, as well as written public comment submissions. On that website, there's also a link to the public comment portal that may be accessed. Members of the media who may have questions before, during, or after the meeting should direct those questions to Edward Woods III, Executive Director of the Commission at woodse3@michigan.gov. For the public watching and the public record, I will now turn to Department of State staff to note the commissioners present.
Good afternoon, commissioners. I will go ahead and take roll, and please say present when I call your name. Please announce during roll that you are attending the meeting remotely, and unless your absence is due to military duty, announce your physical location by stating the county, city, township, or village, and the state from which you are attending the meeting remotely from. Elaine Andrade.
Attending remotely from Imlay Township, Michigan.
Donna Callahan.
Present, attending remotely from Mexico.
Juanita Curry.
Present, attending remotely from Detroit, Michigan.
Anthony Eade.
Present, remotely attending from Detroit, Michigan.
Brittany Kellum. Rhonda Lang.
Present, Osceola County, Michigan.
Stephen Lett.
Present, Lee County, Florida.
Marcus Muldoon.
Present, Carlton, Michigan.
Cynthia Orton.
Present, attending remotely from Battle Creek, Michigan.
Rebecca Zatella.
Present, attending remotely from Wayne County, Michigan.
Janice Follett.
Present, attending remotely from Highland Township, Michigan.
Aaron Wagner.
Present, attending remotely from Eaton County, Michigan.
Richard Weiss.
Present, attending remotely from Saginaw Township, Saginaw, Michigan.
I'm going to go back to Brittany Kellum. With 12 commissioners present, you do have a quorum.
Thank you, Department of State. We will now move to adoption of the agenda. As a reminder for the public watching, you can view the agenda at www.michigan.gov/micrc. I'll now entertain a motion to approve this afternoon's agenda.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? Executive Director Woods.
Yes, if a commissioner wouldn't mind amending that motion, we need to remove the minutes as well as the appeal to the United States Supreme Court.
Commissioner Lang.
May I ask why on the Supreme Court again?
Sure, negotiations are still taking place and they're incomplete.
Are there any motions regarding this matter? Commissioner Lett? You are muted, sir. Still muted.
Okay, well, I will motion that we remove those two items.
Okay,
second.
so, all right. There is a motion to amend the agenda to remove items 6A and which is appeal of the U.S. Supreme Court and 7A minutes for April 28th from the agenda that has been made by Commissioner Orton and seconded by Commissioner Muldoon. Is there any discussion on that amendment? Commissioner Lang?
I'm curious on the Supreme Court, again, are we being charged for anything with every delay that is going on? I mean, I'm kind of curious what we're trying to move to. I haven't had an update, so that's why I ask.
Commissioner Lett?
Like, I guess I would, I think I can answer the question if I know what really the question is. What is it you're looking for to be charged for? Does that include something you're specifically concerned with?
Commissioner Lang?
I guess I'm asking because I don't really know the direction that this commission is thinking they're going to go because I haven't had an update. So if there's a negotiation being made for a certain thing, are we still paying our attorneys to negotiate and these costs? I mean, we've heard it from Mr. Scannell repeatedly about the costs that we're incurring prolonging this. So I guess I'm just trying to get my head around figures. What are we looking at? How much longer is this going to be prolonged? Do we have big dollars going out for these negotiations? I mean, what's the status?
Well, we are, Mr. Chairman, presently the status is that the attorneys are negotiating, as has been said previously in closed session, with the plaintiffs regarding attorney fees, expenses, expert witness fees, etc. So they are working on our behalf in order to obtain a settlement that would then, as far as the litigation goes, stop or minimize further attorney fees and expenses as far as the litigation goes. Now, to answer the question, are we paying something for this? Absolutely. We're not getting free attorney services. So our attorneys are are billing for the work they're doing on this, and the plaintiff's attorneys are billing for the work that they're doing and adding it to that bill. And so that's where it stands. I guess that's what's happening. If there's something else that you would like to know along those lines, I'd be happy to try to answer them if I can.
Commissioner Lang, do you have a follow-up question?
Yeah, just one last question. Are they close? I mean, you've obviously had the updates, so can you tell me, are they close?
I can't tell you that.
Okay.
Okay, is there any more discussion on the amendment to the agenda? Do not see any more hands. We will move on to vote. All those in favor of adopting the amendment to the agenda to remove items 6A and 7A, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
The ayes have it. We will now move back to the adoption of the agenda as amended. That was made by Commissioner Lett and seconded by Commissioner Weiss. Is there any more discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, we will move to vote. All those in favor of adopting the agenda as amended, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Nay.
The ayes once again have it. We will now move on to the public comment portion of today's meeting. Commissioner Lett, I see your hand is up.
I don't know why it's going up. I'm taking it down. I've taken it down 3 times now.
It's all right. Commissioner Wagner, I see your hand as well.
Point out of order, I believe. Can we address Mr. Gallant's and Mr. Skinnell's time? Please, we keep cutting them off every single time they talk.
How do we cut them off?
I don't.
Pay
So-
attention.
Is that all, Commissioner Wagner?
Yeah, I'm just hoping if the same 2 people that consistently show up for public comment get the same treatment as everybody else. So
And we can, they can for sure finish their thoughts. We got to also keep it to the 90 seconds. I'm about to go over the public
correct.
guidelines.
Excuse me. However, we have consistently, every single time someone is talking, have allowed them to finish their sentence. We have. You
Yes,
can look
I
back
just
at
said-
anything.
Just so we can
However,
allow them to finish their thought. So
yeah,
I hear you.
that would be
finish their thought.
awesome if going forward from now, we can let them finish their thought and then address possibly giving them some time at some future thing to address the commission, please.
All righty.
All right.
Without objection, we will begin the public comment portion pertaining to agenda topics for today's meeting. Is there any objection? Individuals who have signed up and indicated they would like to provide live remote public comment to the commission will now be allowed. I will call your name and our staff will unmute you. If you are on a computer, you will be prompted by the Zoom app to unmute your microphone and speak. If you are on the phone, a voice will say the host wants you to speak and prompt you to press *6 to unmute. I will call you by your name. Also, please note if you are experiencing technical or audio issues, or we do not hear from you for 3 to 5 seconds, we will move on to the next person in line and then return to you after you are done speaking. If your audio still does not work, You can email redistricting@michigan.gov and we will help you troubleshoot so you can participate during the next public comment session. You'll have 90 seconds to address the commission. Please conclude your remarks when those 90 seconds are done. Please allow a moment for our staff to unmute you. We have 3 public comment speakers today. The first being Mr. James Gallant.
Mr. Chair.
Good evening, Mr. Gallant.
Hello. All righty, thank you very much. This is James Gallant, Marquette County Suicide Prevention Coalition. These are my opinions, and thank you very much for the consideration. And I would like to say that the time Robert's Rules of Order says that on your business items, you only, the members yourselves, you only get to speak twice, 10 minutes each time, unless you go into committee of the whole. I believe that what you're doing right now is suspending the rules and going completely into a committee of the whole, which is already in Robert's Rules. You already proved it. And then you get extended, more informal consideration. And then you come back with a recommendation to the full board, and then they work on your recommendation, just like you're doing now, except for you're violating the rules. No discussion before a debate, or debate before you have a motion second, and you're just jumping right into it. So I would ask you, please, Mr. Chair, to please schedule a public hearing, a special meeting, so that we can get this public hearing, and we can go over the rules and we can address some of these issues, because these are serious breaches. These are fatal breaches to the commission. You know, I'm going to the Supreme Court if we can't work this out. I'm sorry. And just to get it, to get case law, you guys get this figured out. And so please do that. And how about you just give me like 10 minutes privileged comment on a couple of meetings like Commissioner Wagner just asked for, and then the commission can join in and keep the discussion going if they want. You do that for me. I've been working on this for 20 years, waiting for this day to debate this issue with you, Mr. Eid. I am serious. I believe that you are the guy that can save democracy in America, because this is Marxist style communism that you are doing. You are being, this is the current practice, what they've been doing. That you started, no, you didn't. You started Robert's Rules, and then you had acting chair, Commissioner Lett. Well, that was supposed to be in Robert's Rules. Go to the beginning of the book. It says acting chair until the bylaws committee comes back with rules of procedure, but you didn't do rules of procedure for 4 months. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Galvin. We hear you. And, we'll continue to try to improve on our use of Robert's Rules of Order. Next up is speaker number 2, Miss Jamie Rowe.
That participant is not present.
Okay, then we will move on to the final speaker, Mr. Anthony Scannell.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, MICRC. Good afternoon. The Supreme Court, well, I don't have a lot to say about that. I think it's all been said. Okay. And then the one comment about yesterday's meeting, looking at the application, and was it lived up to what was promised to be done in the application? But I think all the same things could probably be found in the Code of Conduct and the Rules of Procedure. So if you wanted to take an action there, you could probably, I don't know, submit a resolution before the commission to reprimand so-and-so, or vacate the office. But I don't think you would probably want to do that. I don't know, maybe you do. Anyway, I like what the other commissioner did yesterday, or earlier today, starting with the template with the blank and join districts, and then erase 2 and 7 too. I think that makes a lot of sense just for visually looking at it. And yeah, I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scannell. That concludes public comment. Please feel free to email public comments to the commission at redistricting@michigan.gov, or use our public comment portal, which has now been reopened. I think I saw one new comment on there from our meeting last night. Again, that can be found on our website, www.michigan.gov/MICRC. We appreciate everyone who offers public comment in whatever way you choose, and invite you to keep sharing your thoughts. Next up on our agenda is mapping. Pursuant to Rule 4.10.5 of our Rules of Procedure and our adopted mapping process and procedures. Without objection, I will ask commissioners who want to revisit a map or take a turn to draw to now speak. Is there any objection? Hearing none, we will move on to the mapping process in accordance with our rules. The last commissioner to draw was Commissioner Zatella. Commissioner Zatella, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, if John could bring up the map, I'm assuming it's John who, yep, I see him.
Yeah, I'm here.
I just want to go through kind of what my thoughts and thinking were on the way I drew that map for the record so that we have a record of it.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
this is the map with today's date, version 4, the map that you worked on earlier today.
Yeah, so just to kind of run through what I changed here, I had deleted out District 2. The reason for that was what I was seeing yesterday when we were drawing is that 1 and 6 were challenge districts, and by simply deleting them out, they're sort of boxed in by having 2 sitting in the middle, and that was pushing us into a funnel where we were effectively redrawing District 1, which was a challenge district, and District 6, extending District 6 back out into Detroit because that was where there was space, and then District 1, again, following that same configuration we had before with Taylor, Allen Park, Lincoln Park, River Rouge, E-Course, all of that. So we were functionally creating almost the same district. So by reconfiguring 2 a little bit, to also align with what the Arab American Community of Interest had asked for as well, it sort of breaks up that logjam that we had and allows for a little different configuration that makes a more Detroit-centric District 1, and then allows 6 to focus more on the suburbs and allowing that western edge of Detroit where you have that Brightmoor neighborhood in particular to be in a more Detroit-centric district instead of being put in with the western suburb of Livonia. So 2 now has Dearborn Heights, which had asked to be together, and Melvindale, which was another community that had asked to be combined with Dearborn and Dearborn Heights. So they are now together in this map. Allen Park had also, we had a group of teachers from Allen Park who had asked to be included in Dearborn because they share a portion of a school district, and there were apparently similar concerns about challenges and issues with students where they felt that pooling their resources together could assist in getting the type of assistance that they need in those districts. So I think that that forms a nice community of interest there. By keeping 1, pulling out Lincoln Park and Melvindale with 1, you're still able to preserve the vast majority of that Latino community of interest that we had been asked to keep together. And now this also includes Hamtramck and most of the Bengali community of interest. And then we also keep together Morningside, East English Village, and Cornerstone up in that corner as well. So it's hitting 3 different communities of interest while having a mostly Detroit-focused district. Same thing with District 3. It's keeping together Rosedale Gardens. It's keeping together Dexter Linwood, and then that Rouge Park neighborhood as well. I did pull off 2 precincts from 3 and put them into Dearborn because those particular precincts have a high percentage of Arab Americans. That's the Warrendale neighborhood there. And so I moved those into 2 because we needed a little population in 2, and so it sort of balances out a bit. With respect to 6, in order to remove and make 6 more of a kind of suburban focused district, you have to go a little north and a little south to balance that out. So I went south into 5 and pulled that community of interest there, which is the Native American community of interest that we had received before from Meredith. And I pulled that into 6 along with a little bit of Southfield above Redford as well, just for balancing population. So now you have a more kind of suburban focused district. For Canton, I brought in Plymouth and Plymouth Township, which actually did ask to be combined with Canton. I live in Canton currently. Plymouth Canton actually shares a school district, so we had received lots of commentary about that, about keeping those communities together. And then it otherwise keeps the kind of general formation of 5, except we go down into Van Buren Township as well and bring in a little bit of Romulus. And again, that's for population purposes. And then because that number 1 district had been redrawn, Taylor is now able to go into District 4 and to be kept whole, which I think is good there. I left District 8 and 10 largely the same. Those were what were drawn by other commissioners. I did change 11 and 12, and my focus there was really a concern about partisan fairness and how the other map was going to play out with those 2 districts being changed. It didn't quite see the results I wanted on that, so I'm probably going to play with it a little more, but really that was kind of the focus there, was making sure the map is fair from a partisan fairness perspective, because I don't know if you guys remember, but from the map drawing earlier, 12 and 11 were kind of 2 key districts on where we could kind of adjust our partisan fairness previously. So that's kind of a concept there. But in general, this map was just focusing on keeping Detroit communities together, keeping those communities of interest together, drawing districts around them and what we had previously received as communities of interest, and trying to preserve those as much as possible. And then having to reposition some things because, in order to change 6 and 1 in particular, we kind of needed to adjust some other districts as well. So that's my thoughts. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. And actually, John, is it possible for you to rerun the partisan fairness using the original data that we were using with the Linden map?
I believe that's possible. Also, some commissioners have their hands raised.
Yes, Commissioner Lett, saw your hand first.
Yes, I'm going to ask the same thing that Commissioner Zatella just asked, the partisan fairness numbers once again. And I would like to see the Linden overlay on Commissioner Zatella's efforts.
Okay, well, to do that, and then I see your hand, Commissioner Curry. Once we do what was just said, I'll get to you right after.
I'd like to speak right now, please.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. I'm just wondering, with respect to Rebecca, this is your map that you're doing as a whole, or just Rebecca? Is that what you're doing?
No, I'll be submitting my own map that's going to be a bit different from this.
So this isn't your map here?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, you were speaking as if you have designed the whole map, but that's fine. I thought maybe you wanted that map to go through for you, but maybe not.
No, it's collaborative.
Okay. So we can still work on it, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. I'm just trying to get some understanding.
Okay, so if I understand the request, you want to use the original index that does not include the 2022 results.
Right, because I want to see how it changes.
Okay, so that's possible to do. The original index is here, so we can run it that way. As for the Linden version of that, I would have to rerun that as well. So I can first run the original index on this version 4 map and see what that produces.
Wouldn't we just have the original index out on the database, out on the portal?
Quite possibly, but I'm saying
Okay.
I don't have that at my fingertips. I would have to rerun it.
Okay.
But if you have access to that or someone else does, then that's fine. Okay, so let me do that for the reports. Let's try that again. Okay, original index. Okay. So it doesn't want to do that. Notations. Just a second. It's because it's open. It's going to create a file by the same name. So let me take a moment and rename those files. So this one here, open that.
So while he's doing that, can I ask you another question, Rebecca?
Yes, go ahead.
This map here, has anyone else worked on it besides you?
8 and 10 are the original districts that were drawn earlier or yesterday, I think it was. But
So-
yes, those were not drawn by me.
Oh, okay.
And then 6 was the district that was drawn by Commissioner Lang that I redrew.
Oh, okay. I'm just wondering because it looked like you've been all over the map and I thought maybe that was your personal map that you wanted to go through. But since other people have worked on it, I don't know where I was at, but that's fine. Okay. How many more people have not worked on a map today? If I may ask.
We have 3 more people that still have to do their first turn.
Okay.
Commissioner Bellette, Commissioner
Because-
Bellette,
Because
Commissioner Wang.
Rebecca's been on it so long, I'm just wondering, that's why I thought it was her map.
I hear you. Yeah, I think she's just about done. And then we're gonna move on to Janice after.
Okay, give me a moment here. So that's the updated index. I'm just gonna look here, District 1. So it's 436. Okay, so one way you can just quickly verify that they are the different indexes without getting into the data is when Dr. Hanley redid this, the number of total votes was reduced because of the way the calculations were made to equalize over the different years between the presidential and non-presidential years. So this is an indicator that this is it's different, and actually it's not quite what I was expecting, but it should be what we asked the program to do.
So this is the one with the 376,000. This is the old index that we were using.
Yes.
Okay. So under the old index, version 4 is 4.9 lopsided margin.
Yes, for
And
Republican.
then what's the mean median?
2.0.
2.0. Okay.
The efficiency gap is 3.1.
Okay.
And the seats vote ratio is 2018, and it's negative 0.3 or positive 0.3.
Positive 0.3. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, and then again, these numbers are different. There. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, and you can compare that to the previous version of the Linden map, or I can run that if you need to see that sooner than when you reference it yourself.
So I actually looked, so we have the publication data from when we originally published it, and the original Linden, the lopsided margin was 4.5, the mean median was 1.2, the efficiency gap was 3.3, the seats votes was 20/18 with a 0.03 percentage favoring Democrats. So the seats votes was the same. So
Yeah, it would be because
yeah.
that's based on the share and the percentage for the statewide vote is the same.
Okay. All right. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I think Steve wanted to see the overlay of Linden on top of this.
Okay, and then it looks like Commissioner Curry is looking to be recognized again.
Oh, Commissioner Curry, is your hand still up or is?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't take it down.
Okay. Okay, so the dark blue lines are the Linden districts. So this dark blue line is Linden District 1. This is District 2. Let's see. I'm a little lost on 3. Okay, so 1 comes up here. So 3 is here. Let me put the labels on. I lost where District 3 is.
Three was that one that runs up north
Yeah.
into Madison Heights.
Okay.
So I have a question here is when we're mapping it, I mean, you can show us population, you can show us neighborhoods, that's all very helpful. Can you show us partisan data so that we don't just have to create a map in the dark and then run it through and go, oh, that was bad, or oh, that was good? I mean, how do we know what's impacting what as we're drawing?
There's a way to show partisan data if the commissioners want to look into that. You can put it as a label if you just want to see a specific race, or I don't know if I don't think I can show the index or the partisan average. That's not, I don't believe the software will do that. So the partisan fairness would be calculated afterwards. So just as an example, if you look at District 1, this is the population. If you go to the index, you can see that the total District 1, the composite index for the including the 2022 data, is 93.75% Democrat, 6% Republican, and there's a whole bunch of, in fact, all of the political data, I believe, although this might be truncated, but the political data is there, but that's the total district. In order to see, for example, a township or a voting precinct, you can put that information in as a label, or there is a way to do a form of theme or gradation that would show some sort of shading or strength of, again, a specific election.
That's what I want to see. I want to see like a heat map, right?
Yes, the tools they can do something, not quite a heat map, but something like that we've been using before.
Is it just me, or does anyone else think that would be helpful?
Commissioner Lett?
I think one thing we have to be careful of, we cannot favor or disfavor one side or the other, nor can we favor or disfavor an incumbent or a challenger. And I just think that we're going with that suggestion that we may be tiptoeing up to the line on that.
Commissioner Lane?
I think I'm going to echo what Commissioner Lett said. Normally, when we're drawing, we've basically let the politics out of it and looked at the main criterias and kind of adjusted as needed without bringing it in. So I have to agree. I think that may be getting close to the line.
Commissioner Zatello?
Yeah, I also think it's just practically difficult to be looking on a district by district basis because you would have to be simultaneously tracking how you're trying to tilt the district one way or another, which I think one would run us into potentially prohibited behavior. And number two, it just is logistically difficult to kind of look at that individual district data. And the way that we've always historically done it is to have a complete map, run the partisan fairness, and then if you need to reevaluate from there. And those spreadsheets can help you do that if you dig into the data on them. So I think kind of looking at the individual competitiveness of a district isn't, number one, particularly helpful, and isn't probably going to help move us closer to the ball, because it's just one data point out of 38 in this particular map.
Mr. Fink, do you have something to add for this conversation?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think the commission should keep in mind that the guidance that you've been provided is to the greatest extent possible avoid any significant changes to the partisan fairness of the new map that you're drafting relative to the prior map. To Commissioner Callahan, while you've heard from other commissioners that perhaps the partisan data as you're mapping, may not ultimately be helpful as you go through this collaborative mapping process. If you think looking at some of that information may be helpful as you just sort of, experiment, for lack of a better word, I don't see any issue with trying that. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but it may be worth trying. Thanks.
Yeah, I think we'll get to that point. I think right now it's a little early to do that, just because we only have a couple examples right now. And as we organically draw and get some maps with different partisan fairness numbers, it usually becomes rather obvious what areas you need to focus on in order to get those partisan fairness numbers to equal out to what we need them to equal, to have a map that is not disproportionate one way or the other. So I certainly think we'll get there. And if we don't, for whatever reason, I think then it would be appropriate to look at that data like Commissioner Callahan and Mr. Fink was just talking about. Commissioner Zatella, is that a new hand?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, and I do see Commissioner Lang, you just put yours up as well.
Yeah, I also want to stress, we need to make sure that we look at the ranked criteria, because communities of interest do outrank. And the last maps that were drawn in many areas, communities of interest were split, all in the name of partisan fairness. And I'll be honest, that's something I have a hard time swallowing. The partisan fairness is important. However, people were promised for this proposal about getting to select their representatives and having communities of interest. And so then when communities are split all in the name of partisan fairness, it's kind of like a little bit of a kick in the gut, I think. And it has been to a lot of people. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I guess we'll figure it out.
Commissioner Orton?
Yeah, I just want to echo what Commissioner Lang just said. It seems like last time we went through and did communities of interest and then split a bunch up for partisan fairness, but it is ranked below communities of interest. So I think we do need to keep that in mind, and we have to come up with a map that we can all agree on, or enough of us can agree on and vote for.
Okay. So we have this overlay up now.
Right. So as we were just going over that. So 1 is here. Commissioner Eid, you pointed out that District 3 went up to Madison Heights. There's District 3. And 4 was relatively unchanged. Taylor was added to 4. And then there was some adjustments made over here in the
It's
west.
Van Buren Township.
Van Buren, thank you. I was not jumping to my mind as fast as it should. And then we talked about earlier the changes in 10 and 11, but 12 was also changed in this map. So 12, the previous version of 12 included the Grosse Pointes and St. Clair Church.
And I have a question.
Go ahead, Commissioner Curry.
Yes, so this map here is one of the old ones we did, right? And Rebecca's just working on it. Is that what we're doing here with this map? We pulled it up from before? No?
But my understanding is that Commissioner Zatella took the map that was worked on yesterday and made some changes starting over in District 2 and 6.
Okay, but you're gonna keep the map that some of us worked on yesterday, right?
Yes, that's been saved.
Okay, thank you. Because for one, that when we talked about well, I'll just save that. I'll save it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, does that, Commissioner Light, you asked for the overlay. Are you good with that? Can't hear you.
I wanted to see what the changes look like. So yes, that's good. I'm set. I'm set.
Okay, I'll comment on the map. I do like how some things are in here. I like how 2 includes Melvindale with the Dearborn and Dearborn Heights district. And I kind of like this configuration with 4 and 5, Taylor being where it is, Livonia being where it is. So, I think there's some good ideas here. Sterling Heights sticks out to me up top as still being split up. Maybe later we can look into that and change around, 7, 8, 10 and go from there. But I do like that configuration on the southern end of it. Okay. Commissioner Zatella, does that complete your turn?
Yes.
All righty. We will now move to Commissioner Vallette. We have a few different maps now, Commissioner. We have V4 that Rebecca just worked on. We have V3 that Cynthia was working on earlier. And we have V2 from yesterday, or you can start your own.
I'd like to go to 3, the one Cynthia started.
I think she worked on the one that all 3 of us worked on, isn't it? That the one Cynthia started.
Yeah, so V3, Cynthia worked on it earlier. It has the 6 districts that we must change. And then it also included, she deleted a few more, districts 2 and 7, and some of 9. And I think with her turn, she made changes to districts 4 and 5 in that area. And that's where it left off. I think Commissioner Oren, you started this, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you deleted a couple districts, kind of like what Commissioner Zatella said earlier, so we're not boxed in and have a bigger area to work with.
Right.
Okay, if anybody has anything to add, please just tell me because I'm not familiar with this. But I'm going to start a new district and
A new map or a new district?
no, a new district. So I think I'll start up there by 9 in Pontiac.
Okay, and just to be clear, 9 is not a complete district. It's only 40% of the district as drawn.
Oh, okay. So 40%. So how much more would I need, John, to make that a complete district?
165,000. And I'll to help out here, let me put the township names on for you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Orton, I think, has her hand raised.
I was just
Commissioner
wondering,
Or-
Did not see that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Commissioner Oren.
sorry, I just wonder, John, if you could change the color of district, I think it's 24.
Yes.
On my computer anyway, it's just really hard to see.
Commissioner Lang, I see you as well.
Sorry, I was just gonna make a suggestion and I don't even know if it's possible to do, so it would be to Commissioner Villette. Up in that area, you have, I don't know how many of them fall in there, but you have, there's a community of interest that revolves around Southfield, West Bloomfield, Farmington, Huntington Woods, and Oak Park. They are a Jewish community. And I don't know if it would be possible or if that stretches out too much to include. We did have public comment in the past about that. That was going to be one that I was going to look at and see from a community of interest on my next turn. So
Stay away from race.
you're in that area. I don't know if you want to take a look at that, but just bringing up a community of interest that was talked about in the past.
Okay. Could you say what cities those were again?
There was Huntington Woods, Oak Park, Farmington, West Bloomfield, and Southfield.
Now, you mentioned that was those are Jewish by, the interest on it was because they're Jewish. I thought we had to stay away from, race.
That's religion,
That's
religious.
race. That's race.
Okay.
Not religion, that's race. So
Okay.
if you go by that, they're gonna knock it. You're gonna use that as a window to name all those different
Well, in order to make 9 a complete district by population, the only way to really go is 24 okay?
Yes, 24 is not affected. Commissioner Orton only took a portion of 9 away and deleted all of 7. The District 7 was basically from Pontiac to Southfield, and that was not an enjoined district.
Okay, so I do remember that the people in Pontiac said that they kind of wanted to be with Southfield. They felt that they had more in common with Southfield than other communities. But I thought that it was Bloomfield Hills that they didn't, and it's like right in the middle of them. So I don't know how we would get Pontiac and Southfield together with not including Bloomfield Hills.
I don't mean to interrupt Commissioner Villette, but I do see Mr. Fink with his hand up. I'd like to acknowledge that real quick.
Okay.
I was
Thank
very,
you. And I don't mean to interject if it's a bit of an awkward time, but just on this discussion of ethnic groups or religious groups or even racial groups, I think during the house mapping process, remapping, redraw process, we made it clear you can't use any racial data, particularly the data that had been used during the initial mapping process. But when the Baker folks came on and spoke to the commission, when there was questions about the extent to which you can still have discussions about, different communities of interest, and that may touch on ethnic groups, whether it's religious, or even have some kind of racial component to it, that's acceptable, but it can't predominate in your discussions. And so if there's a consideration about a particular ethnic group or a particular religious group, or again, even a particular racial group, some of that discussion is okay, but you just can't have it predominating in terms of looking at having racial data on the screen and that sort of thing. So I just wanted to mention that as sort of an overall comment. Thank you.
Okay, and I saw Commissioner Wagner's hand raised.
Yes, thank you. I was actually going to ask, my question was, I thought I heard Juanita say that Jewish was a race.
I didn't say Jewish was a race. I said she used the word race, that they had all that in common.
I gotcha.
And you can't use that at race for communities of interest.
No, I was thinking it's more of a culture, but we did honor the Arab American culture, and I think it's fair that we honor the Jewish culture as
Then you'll
well.
have to honor the Black culture.
Honey, that's what we're doing. That's why we're here.
Okay, let's not argue. I'm only speaking. I
I'm not
haven't raised my voice. I have not raised my voice.
I'm being nice.
Nice.
All right, Commissioner Wagner, does that conclude your comments?
It does. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Callahan, I see your hand.
Yeah, I'm curious, being a new commissioner, maybe someone can enlighten me. What is the basis of affinity between Pontiac and Southfield?
You know, I think it could really, there are multiple ways to do this area. You know, I grew up in Oakland County in the Orchard Lake, West Bloomfield area. And that.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, you're from Farmington Hills, correct? So
Right,
I think, you know, you could put Pontiac with Southfield, you could put Pontiac with Rochester Hills, you could put it with Troy, you could put it with Waterford. You can go a lot of ways. I wouldn't really be beholden to making it be with Southfield, but there certainly were people who did say their community of interest was Pontiac and Southfield. And I think you've had a lot of different people say a lot of things in Oakland County. So Janice, it's your turn. I think, at least in my lived experience, you could go a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And what do you think, Commissioner Callahan?
Okay, well, let's start.
I think you could, but it's, I don't know, maybe there's old comments I need to go back through and come up to speed. You know, you said there's a lot of comments from people around the different groups and interest in Oakland County. It's a very diverse county. So I'm sure there's a lot of people pulling a million different ways. I'm just trying to understand, Pontiac and Southfield aren't exactly geographically adjacent. They've got several communities between them that makes it hard to put those necessarily together. I just wasn't sure what the basis for the affinity was between Pontiac and Southfield. And if citizens have come forward and said there is one, I'd be interested in what that was.
Commissioner Zatello?
Yeah, I was just going to say, keep in mind that part of that was driven by the configuration of the other districts that we have been struck down. So we have these kind of chutes and ladders, people were calling them, or chimneys going vertical. And, you know, it caused a marching effect with other districts. So I think that's part of it. I will look on the portal to see specific comments about Pontiac. I don't remember anything specific to Pontiac and Southfield, to tell you the truth, but I'll certainly refresh my memory on that as well. But I do think it was partially just a function of, we had District 11 going north-south, we had District 10 going north-south, then we had District 8 and 7, and they just kind of were stacking along, so.
I see. Thanks, that's helpful.
Okay, Commissioner Vallette, it's your turn. You've heard from a lot of people say a lot of things, but you know, the pen is yours.
Okay, I would like to put like Angeles, Auburn Hills, and Pontiac in with 9.
Okay, let me lock District 23 and 24. Shouldn't be a problem, but you don't intend to change those. Okay, and then this appears to be part of Waterford. Do you want to include that, I assume?
Yes.
Okay, you need 70,000 more people. Approximately.
Okay.
So you have Bloomfield, Bloomfield Hills, Birmingham, Troy. Or you could go into 24 or 23 if you wanted to do that.
I would take Bloomfield and Bloomfield Hills.
Okay, the township is not contiguous, but I'll assign it for the moment.
Thank you.
Okay, and now District 9 needs 21,000. There's Birmingham here that's about 21,000.
Okay, so take that.
Okay, and then that District 9 is 32 people off the ideal number.
Okay, I'm done here.
You did good.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Villette.
You're welcome.
Next up is Commissioner Wagner.
Hello, I have a couple questions. Mr. Morgan, could you tell me, does Dave's redistricting import to Audubon Edge? I haven't tried it before.
So not directly. There's some issue with the geography that Dave's redistricting app uses. It doesn't align with the 2020 census geography easily. So you have to do an export of it, and then we have to import it. So doing that on the fly would be difficult, but there are ways we could work that out. I would probably confer with Ryan if you wanted to do something like that.
Okay, and then one more question. Maybe Rebecca or Anthony, commissioners. I'm sorry, I wanted to get commissioner and chair, and then your last name's in there and be all like Mr. Gallant. But anyway, did either of you happen on April 18th when Miss Reinhardt sent us Anthony Skinnell's map? Did either of you work on that and put that into Audubon Edge by any chance? So that we could pull that up and run analysis. And I apologize for my dogs.
I did see the map Mr. Skinnell submitted. I've not opened Audubon Edge at all regarding this Senate redraw process. So I did not do that.
Commissioner Nutella, by any chance did you? Sorry, through the chair.
So I did actually look at it, and I did actually pull it in. So I can send the shape file to John.
Okay.
And he can pull it in.
Thank you.
But yeah, I did actually read his comment, and I pulled up his map and I looked at it and then I pulled it in.
I figured. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question, if I may, to Commissioner Zatala.
Yeah.
Would you said you imported that as a full plan into Autobound?
Yeah.
Okay. And then would you want that to be created as a full plan in Autobound or to use as a layer, as a reference?
So the way I normally would do it, and the way I did for Skinnell's map, is I bring in the Linden and then I delete out the districts where he's going to have an overlap, and then I import in his districts.
Yes, but you've already done that. So
Right.
whatever, when you send me the shapefile, I can just import, I can create a plan that is that, and then it will exist on my computer as that plan. And then
Absolutely.
I can have that as that plan. And then I can also use the shapefile as a layer so you can use it as a reference.
Absolutely.
Okay. Is that something you want to work on with this time now, or is that something you'd prefer to do?
So
when we're
I
back to-
cannot send it to you right now, but
Okay.
I can send it to you overnight and then we can, it's still Janice's turn, so I don't want to be hijacking her turn. So,
Okay.
Commissioner Delotte?
Yeah, I'm done. My turn is over. Whoever's next. I think it's Aaron.
Yes, she was going. We can't hear you, Commissioner Wagner.
First of all, I'm not Janice, Commissioner Zatella. And second of all,
We lost you.
Commissioner E, excuse me, she's been having some technical difficulties, so I'm sure she might come back shortly.
All right, let's give it a second. Technical difficulties do happen. Yeah, I think her screen just dropped off. Commissioner Zatella, did you have something to add?
Lord Jesus, I swear. I forgot what I was doing.
You're
Oh,
mapping.
making a motion to pull Mr. Scannell's map forward so that we run analysis on that and put that forward for consideration for the public. Please and thank you. And if I could get a second on that, that would be awesome.
Can you repeat your motion? I'm a little confused.
You want somebody outside to turn in a map.
No, can you just?
No,
can you
I would
just
like to,
repeat
I
it?
would like to make a motion that after Rebecca does that, tomorrow morning, we bring Mr. Scannell's map forward and run analysis and see how that stacks up and what we think of it and go from there. And I apologize for my dogs, y'all.
Oh, that's okay. You don't need to apologize for the doggies. There is a motion on the table to bring forward the map sent in by Anthony Scannell for publication. Is that correct, Commissioner Wagner?
Sorry, yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
Point of clarification.
I got a point too.
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Lang.
Okay, when you say to bring it forward, repeat the motion for me, please. I want to make sure I understand it correctly.
Sweet Mother in heaven. I don't know about y'all, but I am tired. My brain is a little fried. So I would like to move that once, and I'm counting on Commissioner Zatella to send her shapefile to Mr. Morgan tonight, so that tomorrow morning we can bring that forward, run partisan fairness and all that other good stuff y'all like to look at, so we can see how that stacks up for consideration for Michigan's public, please.
Is that from Mr. Scannelli? Just asking.
Yes, that's from Anthony Scannell.
Okay.
So to finish the point of clarification, so it's not necessarily to move it forward, just see the evaluation on it, correct? That's the motion.
Well, I think considering that Commissioner Zatella was the only one to run that, I would like to see it I pulled it up in Dave's redistricting, but could not do the Audubon during our break, so if that helps y'all out at all.
I just think that we ought to try to stick to the rules of mapping before we go pulling in things from outside. That should be the last resort.
So hold on, everyone. Take a breath for a second. There is a motion on the table, and it was said to bring the map forward. But what I just heard was a little different. Do you simply want that map to have the data run on it? Or do you want it actually to be like?
I would like to see the
Now?
data. Personally, I plan on bringing it forward tomorrow. After we see the data, as long as it's square, I think we can do that.
Okay. There is a motion on the table. There has to be a second first. So does anyone have a second?
I'll second it so we can get to
Okay.
what exactly we're doing.
Okay, so now we'll have discussion on the motion. Thank you. Commissioner Zatella, well, it's Commissioner Wagner, it was your motion. I'll let you go first. Do you have any discussion that you'd like before we vote on this?
Well, no, but I see Commissioner Curry's hand and Commissioner Zatella's hand up. So let's address what they've got to say and let's get on with it.
All right. Commissioner Zatella.
So I'm just curious, does she even need a motion for this? Because in the past, when someone's wanted to bring in a map on their turn, like Commissioner Lett brought in the one, I believe it was from Michigan State, and that became the Trillium. And then I brought in the one from Promote the Vote, and that became the Peony. I don't see why she would need to make a motion to do that. That would just be her turn. So I think she's just giving us notice that this is her turn and she wants to bring in Scannell's map and have it be analyzed. So I guess it seems like a deviation from our past process to have a motion over something, which is her right to do as a commissioner.
Can I speak to that for just a hot second?
One moment. Let's let Commissioner Curry go first and then can respond to that, Commissioner Wagner.
If it's all legit, I'm for it. But if it's not legitimate where we can do that, then I'm against it.
Commissioner Wagner, your response?
Since it says in our rules that we can bring forward a public map, it's in the rules. So whatever you want to do, y'all.
Is it supposed to come in later on, or do it come in while we're mapping?
It comes in whenever one of us decides to bring it forward.
And do you want to use that map? So we'll be bringing it in for.
I would like to see analysis on it.
Can't you look at it tonight or look at it?
Point of order, can we keep the
What?
discussion in order, please?
I'm just asking a question since I was already in dialogue with someone.
We're just having this conversation.
I'm just in dialogue. I'm not trying to, I was still talking with someone. So I thought they were having a dialogue with me.
All right. Mr. Fink, may I see your hand?
Thank you, Mr. Pink.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I said, I think more than once during the House redraw process, I think there's overall risk in the commission ultimately putting forward a map that's been drafted outside of the collaborative process. That said, as Commissioner Zatella noted, during the House redraw process, there were a couple of maps that were brought forward by different commissioners that had been drawn by outside groups or individuals. Ultimately, of course, the commission did not adopt one of those maps. But you know, I don't see an issue if a commissioner wants to use their turn to bring forward some outside map to be considered. I suppose that's fine, but I would caution against the commission ultimately using a map that was drawn by an outside individual or group as the basis for a collaborative map that gets drawn from that. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fink. Commissioner Lang?
Mr. Fink, while you're still there. Thank you. So as you said, the key word I think is collaborative, but you said there's no harm in her bringing it forward. If she liked the reading of the map or how the map looked, she would also have the right to bring it forward as her own, would she not, since each commissioner gets to present one map? I just want clarification.
Commissioner Lang, do you mean to just offer that as like an individual map?
Correct.
I don't see a problem with an individual commissioner offering, whatever map. I mean, they're gonna have to explain to the commission the basis of that map and why you think the map should go forward and why you think ultimately the commission should adopt a particular map. I mean, the fact is, if any individual commissioner presents an individual map that was not drawn collaboratively, there's no way for anybody to know exactly how that map was drawn, whether it was drawn by an individual commissioner or by someone else and provided to the individual commissioner. I don't see a particular problem with offering that as an option. I think that's a little further down the road here in the process in terms of when the commission will actually be deciding which maps to put forward, and frankly, which maps individual commissioners will decide to move forward. But ultimately,
Constitutionally, that would be allowable, correct?
I think it would be. I don't see any limitation on that. Each individual commissioner is entitled to provide a proposal, an individual proposal of their own. But again, with the understanding that given particularly now when we've had this clear instruction from the court to draw these maps, this map, race blind, when we don't know how any individual or or group map or any external map was drawn, if it wasn't done in this collaborative setting in public, live streamed on YouTube, then we won't have that clear, clean record of like we had, frankly, with the Motown Sound map that the commission ultimately adopted and the court approved. If you have some outside map, whether it's presented as an individual map or however it comes in, there's risk associated with that.
Thank you.
We don't want to get sued. Taxpayers don't need to be paying out no more money.
Commissioner Curry, I see your hand. Did you want to add something?
You know, my hand is not on my screen right now, so I can remove it, so.
No worries. I do see Commissioner Orton has something to say as well.
Beg your
Yeah,
pardon?
just since we're in the discussion part, this has kind of been said by others, but I don't have a problem with looking at Mr. Scannell's map. I have looked at it personally, and someone can bring it forward if they want, but I just feel like this motion is premature since we are going to have a chance to analyze things. I don't believe we're doing any VRA analysis at this point, so we would just be analyzing what it looks like in partisan fairness, I guess, which we can do, but I don't understand the motion really.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Commissioner Orton. I think the issue is not everybody has seen the map yet. The public especially has not seen the map yet because it was just sent to us. So what I would recommend, Commissioner Wagner, is bring it up in the shapefile so we could show it publicly, or draw it right now, like how we've done in the past, and then do the analysis. That's what I would think probably would be the best way to move forward, but there is a motion and a second. Hold on one moment. There is a motion and a second on the table that we're gonna need to vote on. But I would recommend that, you try to do one of those things, Commissioner Wagner. Let's bring it up, you submit it tonight so that Mr. Morgan can pull it up and then we can run the analysis and you can see whatever data you want to see.
Seriously, I just had tons of computer issues and you guys are still on this topic. So,
You opened up a can of worms with your
my
motion.
brain is fried. I'm gonna probably bring it forward anyway, so I just figured collaboratively, we could collaboratively look at it, but if y'all don't want to do that, peace out, whatever.
Commissioner Lang?
Can I make a recommendation, Commissioner Wagner? If the commission agrees, could we forego Commissioner Wagner's turn? And that way they would be able to bring forth the shape file for John to get uploaded and then let Commissioner Wagner go first tomorrow with the map that she wanted to bring forward. Would that be acceptable to Commissioner Wagner and the rest of the commission? That way she doesn't lose her turn. We would go on to the next one. They can bring the shape file in tonight and she can do what she wants to do.
But that wouldn't be her turn, would it?
Firstly, motion removed. This is BS. Just saying, y'all, whatever.
All right, well, one moment.
I'm doing it anyway.
Keep it
Rebecca,
professional.
send it to me, please.
Keep it professional. I think we're trying all to work with everyone.
Oh,
And,
no.
there is a motion. Let's bring it back to order, folks. Commissioner Zatella?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to send it to you as well, Aaron, but I think based on what Mr. Fink said, you don't need a motion to do this. This can be your turn. So, we don't have the document that you need right now. I think what Rhonda has proposed is perfectly reasonable, that you have your turn in the morning and you bring the map in the morning, and then that's your turn, is bringing forth that map, and then we can do the analysis. So, but I don't think you need a motion for this. And I think Mr. Fink confirmed that, because this is what other commissioners have done in the past. So
That's fine. I will just do that. Thank you, Rebecca. And anyway, thanks.
Is that true, Mr. Fink?
Mr. Fink, your hands up.
Yeah, again, during the House process, we had a couple of outside maps that were brought in, sort of, I think, kind of experimental, and ultimately the commission did not move forward on those maps. It certainly didn't adopt any of those maps. But in terms of this moving turns around thing, I just want to, the commission's mapping processes or process and procedures document does say that you should, as Chairman Ead indicated at the beginning of this mapping process, selected in alphabetical order. I am quickly looking at the procedures as drafted right now. I don't see anything that allows for or contemplates moving turns around. So the commission would need, I think the commission should take some kind of vote on, or make some kind of motion if in fact you want to reorder or sort of hold off on a turn for next time.
Point of
For the morning.
clarification.
Yes, Commissioner Lang?
I seem to recall specifically, there was a time when Commissioner Kellum actually missed the mapping, and the next day she was allowed to map out of turn. So I don't think it's unreasonable, and there was not a motion when that happened. So I think that it's fair to treat every commissioner the same, since it's been a precedent in the past that this shouldn't be an issue. That's my point of clarification.
Okay, we've heard a lot on this. Commissioner Wagner has said she wanted to withdraw her motion. It was made and seconded. I don't think the motion that was made was necessary or proper in the first place, so I'm going to rule the original motion out of order, and I will now entertain a motion if you guys want Commissioner Wagner to go first tomorrow after we can get the shapefile in. If someone wants to make a motion for that, we can go forward.
I don't think we need it because there's precedent, but I move that Commissioner Wagner get to go forward first tomorrow.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there any debate on the motion?
I would like to know why every single time Commissioner Zatella, Commissioner Lang, or myself do something map related, y'all jump on it and try and squash it immediately. Been going on since the beginning, still going on. Thank you.
I'm not trying to squash anything. I'm trying to stay within the rules of what we're here for. And I'm only trying to get understanding. We've been advised, I wish you'd have brought the map today. Anybody can take their turn whenever. We get more than one shot at these maps, We've got a while to be working on them. So it's not like we only get one shot at it. You'll get another turn.
I was being considerate of all my fellow commissioners because I know I personally had not brought it up on Audubon Edge
Okay.
to see the schematics of it. So
Oh,
drop it. Let's just go on.
Please wait to be acknowledged by the chair before speaking. Commissioner Zatella, I see your hand.
So I will say, as someone who was chair when the last time we mapped, we did allow people to kind of jump the line or move up and move backwards based on individual circumstances. We had people who had doctor's appointments or, whatever the case may be. So there absolutely is precedent for this situation. I don't think there's anything unusual about it. And I know we've had this come up before where something hasn't been posted 24 hours ahead of time. And that is a rule that we've always honored, where we've made that accommodation of moving someone's turn because they wanted to use something that hadn't been sitting on the portal 24 hours before the meeting. So I don't think we need a motion for this. I think it's our past practice, but I'm certainly in favor of it. And if it doesn't pass, then Aaron, I think you just direct John Morgan to start copying Anthony Scannell's map into a new map. And then we spend an hour and a half doing something we could do in 10 minutes with a shapefile.
Thank you.
Capello. With respect, I'm currently the chair, and I would like to follow, the rules as they're written, and I want this motion to be voted on. I think everyone right now, what we're trying to do is work with you, Commissioner Wagner, so you can have your turn. That's what I'm trying to. I'm gonna vote yes, so you can go tomorrow. But I think if you had it today, right, we wouldn't be having this issue. So we'll do it tomorrow, and that's all I got to say. Is there any more discussion on the motion to let Commissioner Wagner go first tomorrow when we're mapping? And by then we'll have the shape file up so she can look at the map she wants to look at. All right, seeing no further discussion, let's move to vote. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, so let's just, somebody please send that into John Morgan so he can get it up and we can go from there tomorrow and take a look at the map. Next up on the mapping list is Commissioner Weiss.
Finally. Mr. Morgan, would you please bring up, I believe it's number 3. I think you just had it up. Yeah, that's it right there.
Okay, so Commissioner Weiss, do you wish to continue? This is 3 that was just
Yes.
adjusted by Commissioner Vlad, okay?
Yes, what I'm looking at is I'm gonna go down, play with District 6. I believe we're short 109. It looks like, if my figures are right, if we take Redford and Dearborn Heights, that should put us pretty close.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Okay, and while I'm putting this, moving Redford and Dearborn Heights, so just to clarify for my own purposes, I will be getting a shapefile from Commissioner Zatella, and I will have that available before the session tomorrow morning. That's the intention, is that correct? To Commissioner Eid, I guess?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
And when we start up mapping tomorrow, it'll be Commissioner Wagner's turn, and we can take a look at that map that was submitted and go over the data and have a good time with it.
Okay, I should be able to have that ready if I get the file from Commissioner Zatella with no problem. Okay, so this is what will be added to District 6. Dearborn Heights, the actual boundary is, as you see there, and that's 112,000 people. So that'll put you close to where you want to be. So
Looks pretty good.
That District 6 is within the population tolerance.
Okay, sounds good. I'm done. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Weiss. That was a speedy one, very efficient. Commissioner Orton?
I just have a question for Commissioner Weiss. I see the numbers turned out real well, and that was very efficient of you. But considering the fact that we've received so many public comments about Dearborn and Dearborn Heights staying together, is there possibly another area that might fit into that as community of interest wise better than Dearborn Heights? Just a question.
You just had to ask me that. Yeah, it is kind of ugly. It is correct. I just tried to get the numbers in. I was trying to finagle around it, how I could get it to look halfway decent, but I haven't come up with anything. I've been playing with going up above, farther, coming down. We're going to end up splitting up a bunch of things. And I guess that's, if we have to do it, we have to do it, but I didn't really want to do it. But if you'd like to change it, I'm more than happy to have you help me.
I'm not saying I have a better solution. It was just a question.
Yes, your question is correct. I don't like it that well, but like I said, we can go change it. I'm still looking here. I may jump in later, never know.
Well, if you want some options to help, you could go into Southfield, you could go under 9, you could go into, you could put like Plymouth with Canton, like how Commissioner Zatella did, and then rearrange some of that district as well. Or you could just go east of Redford. Those are like geographically some different options if you wanted to keep going.
Well, that's what I was looking at, was Southfield, putting them together. And then, but then and then maybe using Redford in there, but that might be too many. Let me see here.
Yeah, it's your
Yeah,
call.
that would be
You
too
can leave
much.
it. I don't
I'm
want
going to leave it. I'll let somebody else play with it for the moment. I may change it later. Thank you.
Commissioner, I saw Commissioner Callahan and then Commissioner Orton.
Has there been any thought to putting Farmington Hills back together and taking what's right now the upper part of, the numbers are really tiny. I think there's 5. We just got like Commerce and Walled Lake and the northern part of Oakland County, and putting Farmington Hills back together, which right now is rather split up, and then taking Northville and putting it over with Livonia and Redford and moving things that way. I mean, I just haven't seen a map that's drawn that way. Farmington Hills is always carved up. I'm not sure why that is.
Would you like to try that?
Well, I mean, it's not my term, so
Doesn't matter. I'm asking for help.
sure. I would like to try that unless someone
like to
knows
see-
that that's been tried and it doesn't work.
Yeah, we give it a shot and see what happens. I
All
mean,
right.
that's what we're doing here. We're playing around. So go ahead.
Yeah, so so if the yellow district there, that's 5, right? It's got Novi, Walled Lake, Commerce, West Bloomfield, Farmington, and Farmington Hills share a school district, or at least partially share a school district. So, I mean, they have community ties there.
That's District 13, Commissioner Callahan.
Is that one that we're not changing? Or hasn't been changed yet?
It has not been changed yet, but if you wanted to, there it is. It's 13. Fi-
Well, let's
five,
give it a try.
5 is this one here.
Right. With, well, I was really trying to keep, I mean, we want to keep Livonia together, but I don't know why Livonia couldn't go with Northville and Plymouth. And take that out of the yellow district, 5, what do we think that one is up there? Put Orchard Lake Village, West Bloomfield, Walled Lake, Farmington Hills, Novi into one district.
Okay, so in order to accomplish that, one possibility would be to undo the last move that Commissioner Weiss did with Redford and Dearborn Heights.
Yeah, right. I think I don't know about Redford, but Dearborn Heights should probably not be there.
Okay.
Commissioners,
So-
yeah, something to add.
I think
Yeah.
Redford and Livonia may have to stay together because that district is going to go horizontal now instead of up into Oakland County.
I was just gonna say, I think she's gonna go way over population based on what she just described. Just
Yeah.
my only thought.
Well, let's give it a shot and then see what
The
happens.
numbers are too long. I can't see the numbers. They're just too small on my screen.
Okay, well, the first thing you said was let's unassign Dearborn Heights.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it should, I think it probably should be later put in with Dearborn.
Okay, so
Sorry, Richard.
at the moment, including Redford, you need 59,000 more people. And what you were talking about doing potentially was making Farmington Hills and Farmington in District 13, and then taking out Plymouth, Northville, and the Plymouth Township and Northville Township.
Right. So put Northville Township and Plymouth together with District 6 in Livonia.
Okay.
And then and then West Bloomfield, Walled Lake, that northern part of Oakland County with Farmington Hills.
Okay, so the first thing is the Northvilles and the Plymouths. Okay, but I have 13 locked, which I will unlock now. Okay, so we'll come to this question in a moment, but the village or city of Northville straddles the county line, so you'll have to consider that in a moment.
Great, we'll deal with that later.
Okay, so that takes District 6 to be overpopulated by 12,000. And then you wanted to take all of Farmington Hills and Farmington out for the moment?
For the moment, yeah.
Okay, and that'll go into 13.
Yes.
Okay, so focusing first on 6. Okay, so then 6 is underpopulated by 48,000. So if you, and then 13, of course, will be overpopulated. But not at the moment, because actually that's not true, because we took a different portion of 13. So 13 is close as it stands, but 6 needs more.
So can we see what the top of 13 looks like?
So it's got
Okay.
the lake communities here, the smaller Sylvan Lake, Keego Harbor, et cetera, West Bloomfield, part of Commerce, part of Novi, and then all of Farmington Hills and Farmington. and you need a little bit more population from someone. There's unassigned area over here in Southfield. There's Northville in Wayne, and then you also potentially communities in 23, which is
So, yeah, I don't want to touch 23, so maybe take Northville.
okay. So that is so just this portion into 13.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is within the tolerance for 13, and then 6 needs 51,000 more.
So can 6 go either
Yeah.
east or north?
Yes, you have Detroit, which is here, and you have Southfield, which is north.
What do you guys think? Which way should I go, east or north?
You know, I wonder to Commissioners Weiss and Callahan, is there a way to kind of combine like what you did with District 13 and District 6 with what Commissioner Zatella did in District 5? I think she had mentioned putting Canton with oh yes, that area, the name Plymouth. There we go.
Mm.
Is there a way to kind of marry those two changes together?
Sure, I'm good with that.
Commissioner Zatella, your thoughts?
Yeah, like I mentioned, Plymouth and Plymouth Canton share a school district. So I think it makes sense to have them together.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, that would take away population from 6, which needs to gain population.
But 6 has got room to go east or north. I mean, it's not hemmed in.
Okay. All right, so you want to add to 5. The Plymouths, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so 5 is now over by 40,000. 6 is under by 88,000. And then you still have the Northville question here.
Well, Northville doesn't really have that many people, right?
No, it's just whether you want, again, the community itself straddles the county line. So if you wanted to put it all in 6, or currently it's all in 13, or split it along the line with those first options.
Okay, so that to me is a little detail we can tweak at the end. I think 6 needs to get fixed first. And if 5 is too big, then it needs to get fixed as well. So Commissioner Zatella, take suggestions there for what you think would be the best thing to do.
So which is 6? I'm sorry, I'm not in front of my computer. I'm just looking on my phone and it's a little small. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the moment, Commissioner Zatella, let me tell you what's in 5. Has all of Canton, all of Westland, Garden City, Inkster, and Wayne. It has a portion of Van Buren and all of Plymouth and Plymouth Township. And it needs, it's over by 40,000. So you could retreat from Van Buren, you could retreat, we just added Plymouth, you could retreat from Garden City or Inkster.
So, and what is the district above that? The green one?
The green one is 6, and it's currently underpopulated. Commissioner Callahan, Commissioner, was looking at going north or east.
Okay, so 5 is over and 6 is under. Is that right? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes.
Yes.
By how much?
So 5 is over by 40,000, and we just added the Plymouths, which took it over, but that was by design. So we're, you would on the edges, if you will, is a split in Van Buren, which could be taken away, or Garden City or Inkster on the eastern side.
So I'm just wondering where the missing 40,000 people are, because you're 40,000 over in 5 and you're 88,000 under in 6. That
Okay,
seems like
well, the reason is there's a great deal of unassigned territory in Southfield and Wayne County, Detroit.
So if the question is just how to fix 5, I would grab that same area Westland that I moved earlier to because that's the community of interest of the Native American population. So it's basically yeah, you're right on it, John, because that was the area I was moving before. Yeah, so I would start along there and go across towards Garden City. Keeping in mind Garden City is a separate city, so if you can avoid maybe taking that or take it's 27,000 there. So we're bringing down.
Yeah, Garden City, all of Garden City is 27,000. We're looking to lose 40.
So I would, how many people are in the precincts right above Garden City? Is it above 13?
Okay, one moment, let me take away the name of the precincts. Okay, okay, so the area is above, so 5, 7, 10, yes, about 13.
Okay, so I would take those precincts plus Garden City and move them up into 6, and that should solve 5 for you.
Okay.
That helps 6 too.
Yeah.
Okay, is that what you'd like to do?
Yes, please.
Okay.
All right, so these precincts, 9. That's 15. We can take back one of those if we need to. And of course, I assigned it from 5 to 5. So let's try that again. Okay, so that takes 5 at just under -1% deviation. So sorry, 6, 5 is fine. So 5 has all of Canton, all of Westland, all of Inkster and Wayne. It has Plymouth Township and Plymouth, and then a portion of Van Buren. And then 6, if you don't take Dearborn Heights, you would then look at Southfield and Detroit potentially.
So what do we need in 6? 45,000?
Yes, all of Novi is 66, which you didn't want to do. And then you've got Southfield could be split or Detroit could be split.
I don't know, guys. What do you think? Detroit or Southfield? I could take that block in Detroit, and then, I mean, because we could do neighborhoods there, and you're not really splitting things. Whereas Southfield, you would be splitting a whole township, a whole town. So let's try Detroit first.
Okay, did you want the neighborhoods on?
Well, I'd rather not split neighborhoods.
Oh, so yes, then.
Yeah. Commissioner Weiss, do you have any feedback?
I think you may be frozen. Oh, there you are.
Okay, so we're over by Telegraph Road here. So you've got Brightmoor and the extreme western part of Detroit.
All right, so I guess just start plugging communities, neighborhoods in until we can get to the 45,000 that we need. Is there a community of interest there I need to be careful about? Right at that edge? I don't think so.
So Brightmoor is a neighborhood.
Well, yeah,
in
Brightmoor, but to the west of that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, well, above Brightmoor.
And then next to Brightmoor is the Rosedale Park neighborhood. I don't know how far you're going to go over.
That's 21,000. So if you go all the way up to the county line, 26,000, you said you did want Brightmoor and you might want Rosedale.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was saying don't take Brightmoor, just to be clear.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Brightmoor has got challenges and it's probably not fair to put them with the suburbs.
Okay, so this represents 35,000 of the 45, not including Brightmoor, except for a piece that I can take back out.
Okay.
So I'm going to adjust this area of Brightmoor to be unassigned. Sorry, it just takes a moment. The unassigned, it doesn't let me unassign groups. Okay, so Brightmoor is unassigned. So now we need about 12,000 into 6. So if you want to stay more on the north side, up here, look at that area, okay?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll take that out in a moment here. Okay, so that'll put you right on population, and then I'll take out this neighborhood split. Okay, so with that adjustment, you're within half a percentage point deviation on the negative side, 1,312. And I'll turn off the neighborhoods for a moment so you can see things better. Okay, so this version of District 6
Much better.
Okay, so yeah, and then you're back to the Northville question. If you wanted to do something differently with that, you could, but otherwise you've got Northville Township, Livonia, Redford, portion of Westland, all of Garden City, and a portion of extreme northwest Detroit.
Okay, so I'm not sure where Northville Township should end up just yet, but that to me, that's a nit detail. Once we get the rest of the map filled in, we can clean stuff like that up. So I'll just leave it for now.
Okay.
Looks good.
All right, so you've adjusted 13, 5, and 6.
Commissioner Wise, your thoughts?
Yes, that's good. I like it. It looks better than what I did. Thank you, Donna.
You're welcome.
I like it too. I think with District 13 in particular, part of the reason why it looked the way that it did before was we were trying to, because of how some of the other districts were located, and we had a big push from the West Bloomfield Orchard Lake area to be somewhere with the lower portion of Oakland County, whether that be Novi or Farmington Hills or Livonia. I don't think that matters too much as long as it's somewhere lower and not up with, like Waterford and White Lake and those areas. And I think Livonia is still whole here, which is what we've heard from commissioners previously. And yeah, I like it too. Oh, and you unsplit up Farmington Hills, right? That was the whole point. So good job, good collaboration between all of y'all. Commissioner Weiss, do you have anything else to say, or does that conclude your turn?
I would say I'm done. Thank you.
All right. So everybody's had one turn so far, except for Commissioner Wagner, who'll be going first tomorrow. And we will now go back to the beginning and start with Commissioner Andrade.
Okay, so let's continue with this map and try and fill in what we're missing.
Okay, so as reference, just to give you an idea of how many districts have yet to be drawn, it looks like there are 7 districts that are yet to be drawn.
Okay, I'd like to start under 9 and east of 13. I don't know what district we'll call that, but if you can take in all of Southfield, Lathrop Village, Berkeley, Madison Heights, Troy, Clawson.
Okay, let me check that out for me here. So you want all of Southfield?
Yes.
Okay, but then you're going to connect up to Troy?
Well, let's see how much we have going east from Southfield.
Okay, so first Southfield. Southfield Township, Southfield Village City, and Lathrop Village, that's 95,000.
And then go over, add in Berkeley, Huntington Woods, Oak Park, Pleasant Ridge,
Okay. You want Royal Oak yet or not?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the Royal Oak at the bottom is a township, so go east with Royal Oak. Yeah.
Here.
Yep.
And you said you wanted Clausen?
Sure.
Okay. So you need 46,000. So I think Troy is split, but the balance of Troy would probably be more than you would need. You have Madison Heights, Ferndale, Hazel Park, and Royal Oak available, or you could go into Detroit.
Well, Madison Heights for sure. And Hazel Park.
Okay, so that puts you right on the money, not taking Ferndale and Royal Oak. Ferndale and Royal Oak are about a little less than Madison Heights.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave Ferndale because they had talked about wanting to be associated with Palmer Woods, and that's in Detroit. So for now,
Okay.
if 7's on the money,
It is.
then let's stop with that one.
Okay.
Boy, I'm not sure I want to get into Dearborn unless Commissioner Zatella wants to help me out on the Dearborn. What was 1 and 2? Certainly we can take, and this would be for 2, Southgate, Lincoln Park, Allen Park, Dearborn, Dearborn Heights,
Okay.
and Melvindale.
Okay, so you want that to be District 2.
Right.
So I think you're probably going to go over population on that with Lincoln Park in there. But I mean, you might be able to take part of Lincoln Park out.
Would that go into 1, you think?
Yeah.
Okay, leave Lincoln Park out for now.
I think you're going to have to take part of it though.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
to get your population right.
yeah, you could take part of Lincoln Park, you could take portion of Detroit.
Yep. There is there is a very high Arabic population in the neighborhood's called Warrendale. It's at the north part of Dearborn. If you wanted to try to grab from there, that might be a good area to go.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, keeping that community of interest together.
Did you mean Lincoln Park, Commissioner Zatella?
No, I'm talking about north of Dearborn.
North of Dearborn in Detroit.
Yep, and if you can turn on the neighborhood map, that might be helpful. But it's those precincts that are lining the edge of Dearborn Heights and the top of Dearborn. That's pretty much Warrendale.
Right. Oh yeah, Warrendale. Yeah, it's these these right there, these 3. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So start with just these 3 and then go the whole neighborhood potentially, or
So it depends on what she wants to do. If she wants to split these neighborhoods, because like those 2 bottom precincts in the Warren Avenue community, and then those, I think it's 3 or 4 across Warrendale are, pretty strong community of interest Arab American community there, especially all along Warren.
Yeah.
So I would kind of start there and see what the population is, and then see if you want to go farther.
okay, so you're looking for 20,000 people. You probably would need all of this.
Okay. Does that sound good to you?
Sounds good to me. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so this will be about half, I think. That's 13. So we'll start with these 5 first. Okay, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and you're 6,000 under. So do you want the Warren Avenue portion or the Warrendale portion?
I would go to Warrendale.
Okay. Okay, so that's right on, it's almost on 1,300 under. So you can take a little more up to the neighborhood boundary. You could also, let's see, this would be one more.
Yeah, I just, if you can put the whole neighborhood in, unless it's going to really massively put you over.
It should be okay. It won't be over that. It won't be over meaningfully.
Where is Joy Road here?
It's right at the
It's
border.
that.
Yeah, it's the top border of what he's looking at.
Of Warrendale.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's Joy Road right here.
Yep.
Okay. If it helps, Commissioner Andrade, there is a community of interest map that was referenced quite a bit. I think it's our most commented, it's our most referenced one, actually. It's C1510 on our website that is goes over this community.
Okay.
It's pretty close to what you're doing now, so keep up.
Okay, and then the Warren Avenue neighborhood is split, but let's see where you are on population. Hmm. Okay, we'll check that. Yeah, you can take a little more if you'd like to.
Can we take, yeah,
The balance of the Warren Avenue neighborhood.
yeah.
And you want to take Garden View here as well?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm gonna have to pause here, I think, because it does not appear to be updating. So it's still showing me at 1,300 under. Oh, no, it's not. I was looking at the wrong one. Okay. All right, so that was too much. I'm my fault for looking at the wrong number. So I'm gonna back out of Garden View and then back out of that last portion of Warren. And let me pause here and reconsider that. Okay. So before taking Warren Avenue, I was looking at District 6 and wondering why it wasn't moving, because we're doing District 2. So at the moment, it's about 4,000 people over, positive 1.5. So if you take all of that, it would be too much. You could stick with that. You could take a little bit more, or just stick with that.
If we could, okay, take the rest of Warren Avenue neighborhood out.
So the dividing line that was discussed earlier was Warren Avenue itself, right? So this is the area that was identified as being predominantly Arab.
Okay,
Yeah,
is that correct?
Yeah, I would leave that with Dearborn.
Okay, okay, all right.
Okay. Yeah, this is the major thoroughfare in that area.
Yeah. It's the commercial
District.
kind of district.
Yeah.
For that area.
Okay, so you're good in District 2. I'll turn the neighborhoods off. Okay, and then 6 and 2 are green. I'll just adjust the color so you can see it a little better. Okay. All right, so drew District 2. And then previously 13, 6, and 7. So 7's up here, now 2.
Okay, what are you thinking? Oh, I think Commissioner Andrade may have dropped off.
Okay.
Man, we're having a lot of technical difficulties today. That's all right. It happens. We've been going for over 2 hours now. I know we don't have a ton of time in the meeting left, but how about we take a 5-minute recess to get her back on and take a quick break. Any objections? Commissioner Curry? We can't hear you.
Did you say take a 5-minute recess?
That is what I said, yes.
Do you think that's enough time?
You gonna do a 10-minute recess?
At least a 10-minute.
Okay.
Or
Let's-
stop early so we can go.
How's everyone feeling?
Tired.
We do have Commissioner Andrade back, so that's good.
I know, I'm tired. I heard somebody else say they were.
Let's all right, let's keep it moving. I'll try to get us out of here a little faster then.
Okay, bye. I'm gone.
No, I said let's keep it going.
Internet for $35 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And get free Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit the store today. Requires Christmas and auto pay with store.
Oh, Commissioner Curry, can you just mute your microphone? We can hear some background noise. Thank you. Okay. I think you dropped off there for a moment, Commissioner Andrade.
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
Morgan going over the changes you've made so far to districts 7 and district 2.
Yeah, and I am willing to pass on to the next person.
Okay. The next person up to draw is Commissioner Callahan.
Wow, that turn came around fast. Let's see, what do we have left here? We got, how many more districts? 2, 3,
5.
5?
Yeah, we got a big area left. You have most of Macomb County still unassigned, and you have almost all of Detroit still unassigned.
Okay, well, I don't know, I would necessarily want to go up into Macomb myself. to me, it just seems logistically easiest to start from the hard physical barrier of the river, because you can't move that, and move west. So maybe let's do that. Start there on the riverfront. Doesn't much matter to me if we're going south or north. I guess we can start south.
Would you want to take the townships, Lincoln Park, River Rouge and Ecorse?
Yeah.
And
And
so
what district are we building here? 1?
District 1 generally is in that area.
Okay.
So we'll start off with the Wayne townships and then you'll be in Detroit.
Okay.
Okay, so they'll give you what, 55,000. Okay, and do you want the neighborhoods on yet, or do you want to go by roads?
Well, I think you can just go by roads here for a little bit and take that whole area there, certainly through Corktown, I think. So Mexico Town, Corktown.
Yeah, I'll put that much in, so that'll take you about 100,000.
That's 100,000 there.
That is, yeah, 100,000. You need 162.
Oh, we gotta have a lot more than, okay.
Yes.
So can you yeah, thank you. I guess take downtown.
Okay.
All the way up to, is that 75 there?
Yeah, right here is 75.
Yeah, so what's the one that's, the intersection in that corner there? Is that 96, 94? I get them all mixed up. They're like a big circle there.
They literally are big circles there.
Used to drive me
Notice.
crazy when I was driving downtown every day. I could get lost in a hurry.
I would suggest, Commissioner Callahan, to me, Woodward would make a little bit more sense than 75 being
Okay.
the line. I hate to perpetuate a east side versus west side debate, but that is the debate.
That is, right? Okay, that's fine.
Woodward's right to your left. Yep.
Woodward's right there in the middle. Yep.
Okay, so you don't want this portion in?
If we're gonna do the Woodward divide, I suppose not.
Okay.
So after that, we'll have to head north.
Okay, it's not exactly Woodward, it's following the voting precincts, but it's about there. Okay, so that's basically the same 110,000 people, basically. So you need 150 more, 150,000. And you have all of this area of
So,
Detroit.
yeah, so keep following along the border of 2, heading north.
Does that work?
Yep. Where are we at there?
You need 126,000.
Okay, so you're gonna have to go, I think, start curling around the top of Dearborn maybe, and keep heading north.
Do you want the neighborhoods on at this point or not?
Yeah.
So you want these neighborhoods north of Dearborn?
Yes, please. Maybe, what is that, Fiskhorn? Plymouth, yeah, and then go up. That's probably enough.
You need
West.
100,000 more people.
So you're gonna have to take the whole, just keep heading north.
North?
Yes. Unless someone else has a better suggestion.
I like what you're doing. It kind of combines almost in a way District 1 and District 5 from the Motown Sound map. If you recall, in that map, we also kind of put the downriver areas around Dearborn. So that you could either go more eastward into Detroit, or you could keep going westward into like the Joy Schoolcraft area.
Well, where is, can you move that population thing out of the way just a tiny bit? What happened to Woodward? So go over to Woodward.
Woodbridge, sorry. Woodward.
Yes. And take those neighborhoods in. So that would be to the east.
Woodward Road.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, I wasn't clear there.
You want put Wayne State in?
I suppose.
You could. I mean, if you're gonna have downtown, usually I like to think of like Wayne State, Midtown, New Center, Tech Town, being, all pretty similarly related. The question is, do you want them with this district that you're making that's like a downriver plus Detroit district, or do you want it on a east side district?
Yeah, maybe we should go west over the top of Dearborn, all the way over to the other district over there. Like wrap one around the top of that.
So you want to go all the way to Brightmoor or not all the way?
I don't know how to draw this. Anybody else have a suggestion? I can't.
We just take out the neighborhoods again.
I mean, you could just follow the expressway there. And then put the neighborhoods together that are being split.
I think try it, go for it. I think keep going in the direction you're going, and we'll see how it looks, and we can change it later if we don't like it.
Okay, so go
Joy
go west over to District 6.
Okay. Hang on a second. And sign those first. So you still need 53,000 people.
Can you, so go ahead and take the north part up there.
Okay. Okay, so you still need 27,000.
So you get that little finger sticking out, sticking to the
here.
west, yeah.
Okay, so needing 24,000.
Okay, so see that, what is that triangle right there? Schoolcraft Road?
Um,
What is that road?
Grand.
Grand River? Okay. Yeah, so take that under Grand River.
Okay.
The neighborhoods, basically, I guess.
Sure. We'll put the neighborhoods.
Put the neighborhoods up. Could help.
Maybe zoom out just a little bit so I can see what we got so far.
Okay, well then let me turn off the neighborhoods.
Yeah, just for a second.
Sure. When you go to Grand River, you can imagine what that will look like.
Right. So I guess what I'm trying to do at this point is not make this such an oddly shaped district. I mean, it's obviously wrapping around 2, which is a community of interest, but I'd like to, you know, kind of connect that upper northern part with the other part that's hanging down the other side. So however much we can take in that square that's kind of carved out to make it look less like a crazy snake.
So do you want me to take the areas south of Grand River?
South of Grand River, yep.
Okay, so this neighborhood is primarily north, but it splits. right on Grand River. So we'll come back to that.
Yep.
Commissioner Orton?
Yeah, I just have a question about the shape of this district. It seems like we're trying really hard not to just go along the waterfront. Is there a reason that those two sides should not be together? It seems like since they're both on the water, they would have something in common.
From my perspective, no. I just was doing a try of going north instead of going along the water, but I don't have a specific reason for that. If this looks too crazy, we can undo it and take it back that way instead.
Okay, it was just a question. I just wonder, it just seems like
Yeah.
this is a lot of, we have to work really hard to try to get something to work, and I don't know if the other way would be easier and potentially better. I don't know.
It's surprising how big the districts get from the Senate to
Yep.
get the population. The House districts were so much smaller. It was a lot easier. So this one is pretty stretched out. I would agree, because you're all the way downriver and then all the way up north, which seems a bit of a stretch.
Well, at the moment, you're within 8,000 people of zero, within 2,000 people of tolerance.
Okay, well, I'm going to leave it for now and we can adjust. I mean,
Do you want to bring it closer? There's a couple more that are like these areas here.
sure.
Okay. Okay, you still need a little more population. So again, you have the option of taking all of this Grand River, a portion of this Grand River. You also could make adjustments over here around the tech town and the university.
Just take all of the Grand River district.
Okay.
Yep.
Mhm. Okay, let's see. There we go.
Okay.
All right, did you want to stop there, or do you want me to finish this neighborhood?
We're at -5. Yeah, you can finish that neighborhood.
All right, I'll get this done quickly. Okay, that'll take you to about 4,500 under. 1.7. And there you go. Turn out the neighborhoods. All right. So there you go.
Okay. I am good.
No, all right. Could you talk a little bit about why you drew it this way? I think you're wanted to combine the downriver communities with the west side of Detroit.
Sure. Exactly. Trying to keep to your point, the normal split of the west side, east side that has always been there is communities of interest. So to the west side of Woodward, and then going up as north as far as possible is needed to get the population to complete the district. So downrivers together, Corktown, Mexico Towns together, and then it leaves the east side and some of Wayne State, Midtown, there's other places to be a separate district that are not grouped with downriver.
Okay, thank you. I'll just return for a moment to Commissioner Andrade. Could you speak a little bit about why you drew 2 and 7 the way that you did? That part.
Yeah, I mean, 7, we had talked about Southfield, keeping Southfield and Oak Park, and I know that area pretty well, so that seemed like a common sense kind of thing to do for 7, to keep that together. And in 2, I really liked what Commissioner Zatella did, and I was trying to kind of replicate that with her help. By the way, thank you, Commissioner Zatella.
You're welcome.
And in keeping Dearborn and the communities of interest in Dearborn together. So that was my point with those 2.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
That'll conclude mapping for today. We will start tomorrow off with Commissioner Wagner and then move to Commissioner Curry. I do see a few hands up. I saw Commissioner Curry's hand first.
I have a question. So we're not under that lawsuit where the people that were suing for Detroit to get more. What was it that they needed more of? We're not under that this time around. Is that right? Under the lawsuit where we had to kind of please the people that, are we under that umbrella on this?
Yes, this is the remedial process for that lawsuit.
Because it seemed like.
Mr. Fink, can you speak to that?
Can I finish?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were done. Let's let Commissioner Curry finish.
I'm just trying to find out if we're still under that umbrella, because if we are, we're doing everything but that on this map. And I thought you was gonna let us out early since we didn't take a break.
I'm trying. Mr. Fink, can you answer Commissioner Curry's question?
Sure. Well, I think, Mr. Chairman, I think you were correct in that you said that this is a continuation of that process. Commissioner Curry, the previous mapping that we were doing over the past couple of months was related to the redraw of the state house map that was ordered by the court. And this is the redraw of the state Senate map that was ordered by the court from that same lawsuit. So this is a continuation of that. And it sounded like you perhaps don't like this particular map that's being drawn. And, you know, of course, you should convey those thoughts, and you guys will have your deliberation process as you continue on through this, initially the mapping process, and then you'll discuss the maps that you like and you don't like and all of that. But yes, this is a continuation of the court ordered redraw of the Senate map.
Commissioner Curry, if you're speaking, we cannot hear you.
No, it's not that I don't like the map. It just seems like we're not hitting what we are being sued for. We're not getting to the things that they're suing us for. It's just, you know, but other than that, you know, I was just wondering, were we still under that pressure to do what the courts want us to do when it came to the other map and this one? Because it just seemed like we're not thinking about it on this one. So I don't know. I'm just asking a question. I'm through with that.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Curry. Commissioner Zatella, I see your hand.
Yeah, I just wanted to state for the record that the Scannell map has been compressed, put into a shapefile, and sent over to John Morgan and Edward and you, Anthony, as the chair, and then also Aaron Wagner. So you should have that in your inbox. If you, for some reason, don't have it, John, please shoot me a note and I will resend.
Yes, I got it. Thank you, Commissioner Zatella. Okay, we will now be moving on to the Executive Director's report. There is an Executive Director's report today. Without objection, I will ask MICRC Executive Director Edward Woods III to provide the report. Is there any objection? I do not hear any. Please proceed, Mr. Woods.
And assisting you, Commissioner Eade, as chair, and getting the commission out early, we can talk about the Executive Director report on tomorrow. And I'll just remind everyone that we are meeting tomorrow from 10 to 1 and also from 4 to 7. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Lane.
Can we just hear the executive director's report tonight so we have the extra time tomorrow to map? We had a long conversation earlier that took up a lot of time. So if it's just a quick report, can we just do it tonight?
I mean, there's really nothing to update other than the meeting, Commissioner Lang. It's just a standard agenda item. So I don't really have anything pressing to share. So, and I don't think I'll have that much tomorrow, to be honest with you. So just giving you guys your time back in cooperation with the chair.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Lang and Executive Director Woods. We'll now move on to acknowledgements or announcements. Are there any announcements? All right, I do not hear any. We will now move on to adjournment. As the items on the agenda are complete, the commission has no further business. A motion to adjourn is in order. May I have a motion, please?
So
So
moved.
moved.
All right. Well, I heard Commissioner Weiss first this time. I guess Commissioner left us a little while ago. That's why. So we've moved the totem a little bit. I heard a motion by Commissioner Weiss and a second by Commissioner Callahan. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we will now vote. All those in favor of the motion to adjourn, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 And all those opposed, please raise your hand and say nay. The ayes have it. We are adjourned for today at 6:48 p.m. We will reconvene tomorrow morning. See you all there.